You're such an asshole.
Hey all, assholeconsulting.com. Have a video request, and if you have a request, you can go to assholeconsulting.com. Give me your money, and maybe I'll give you some advice or wisdom. Actually, I will, because that'd be just too mean for Cappy not to do that. Hey Cappy, a while back you did a video for me titled Preventing Liberals from Changing Topics, and it had to do with the conversation I had with the liberal via text messages. Anyway, I just had another one with her. Same girl, huh? And asked what she had against Trump's 100-day pledge to America. As you could imagine, she couldn't come up with anything and could only call names to spew out leftist propaganda. Why are you still hanging out with this girl? That would be my question. I mean, is she hot? Did you do the betting tactic? Hey, I bet you this thing that you and I disagree about, and if I'm proven right, you have to blow me? Have you done? I mean, if she's good looking, fine. Otherwise, what are you doing talking to this girl? She is wasting your time. You have more important stuff to do than this. I'd like to send you the short conversation I had with her once again for your review. I'd like you to do a review on it and maybe go over his 100-day pledge and say what you think the left would have against any of his points, etc. Once again, I'll send you the short text version. Thanks, Rod. Okay, Rod. So I pulled down his text. Let's look at the first one. Who is who here now? Blue. I'd like to hear. Okay, this is you. You are in the blue. I'd like to hear what the left has against his 100-day pledge, other than that he won't be able to do it. Personal views, not what's told to you by others and or media. Have you read up on Bannon? But it has nothing. Okay, so right off the bat, she didn't. Perla did not address your question. Bannon is. She just changed topics on you. See, and then you failed. Then your response was not yet, but I see the scare pieces on Facebook or Facebook. You said you should have stopped right there. Said no, you didn't answer my question. That's a separate topic of conversation. I see now. It's too late. You gave her the ball, now she's running with it. You failed the first thing. You paid me all that money to tell you how not to let liberals change topics, and you failed to incorporate that into or failed to execute it in the real world. Have you read his site? Don't get news from Facebook. Geez, many do. I'd still like to know what you have against. Okay, good. You're trying to bring it back now. What you have against this 100-day pledge. You need to ask others first. No need to ask others first. You. Okay, good. You're trying. You fumbled the ball, but you recaptured. Then she sent you a link to North Korea. Kim Jong leader Un waves his hand about Chinese site blocking it. Good. You're trying to keep her on task. And I said no answer. Others, you think I talk to people? Focus. Okay, you got her on the ropes already. She's already afraid. Okay, here it's on. She says, I haven't looked at it. All right, so that's good. But you can see how sneaky they are, how slimy they are. I'm still in shock and denial, she said. I'm going to post that question. Just seeing his face makes me want to puke. Again, nothing to do with the question. I'm still in shock and denial. I'm still holding out hope he'll be killed off before taking office, though Pence is super scary too. So this girl hasn't read his platform and she wants him dead. Trump's tenure will be a short 4 years, but is likely to be damaging one for jobless and low-wage American voters, Gross added. Oh, she's quoting someone. Trump's tenure, so she hasn't had a thought on her own. She hasn't done any research because that takes effort, and I know liberals don't like taking effort. So she merely copied and pasted a quote. Trump's tenure will be a short 4 years, but it is likely to be damaging one for jobless and low-wage American voters, Gross added. When he gets rid of NAFTA, is that going to hurt low-wage voters and low-wage Americans? I write amazed, almost amused bewilderment at what American voters have done to themselves. All right, now so she didn't answer your question. She's merely quoting other people, and you write, I posed the question on Facebook along with the only answers you could come up with, answers which never answered the question. It'll be interesting to see the comments. Oh, good. So good. Now you're attaching cost. See, liberals have no cost when you're debating with them, but when you attach a cost, either in a bet, which is what I recommend, or social, you're going to throw this up on Facebook. Now she's like, oh no. It'll be interesting to see the comments. She says, good for you. I kept you nameless. I roll. Okay, yeah, she's okay. If you're going to show her this, dear, you're a pussy. you're a coward, and you're not even an intellectual weakling because that indicates maybe you have some strength to begin with. You don't know anything. You haven't researched anything, but you want a man dead? Does that not concern you? I mean, so to my client, yeah, this is typical leftist stuff. And it also, once again, I ask you the question, why the hell are you hanging out with her? You're not getting that time back from this waste of time. This is a very worthless person. I mean, I don't mean that to insult her. I mean that as she's worse than worthless. She is a black hole, a time sink. You could have spent that time smoking cigars, reading a book, having actual intellectual conversation with a liberal that would be intellectually honest and actually convey arguments. And it's not because she's a liberal. It's because she's a hypocrite. Why are you wasting your time with this person? And your money now, too. I've got you twice. So this girl has cost you 2 asshole consulting requests. Why don't you go hit her up for the money here? I guess you got to learn by going through it. But let's go through the second part of your request and go through Donald Trump's 100-day plan. But look, what do you want me to say? You're going to have more success talking to a wall or a dog. She's brainwashed. She's a zombie. There's no getting through to her. There's no reason or rationale or evidence. And here's a little irony. I hope you still watch it, sweetheart. If you're not even going to listen to people, you're not going to reason with them or hear people out, and then you want them dead, what do you think the counter argument is for people like you who are zombies who are just like wanting to kill people or wish people were dead, but you're not being able to be reasoned with? We call those zombies. Ever watch, Living Dead? How do you deal with zombies? You reason with them, rationalize with them? Because you sure the fuck can't be reasoned with. You know, I mean, you really want to be an intelligent person. You really want to be treated like an adult. Why don't you read up and get educated? Why don't you do that? Otherwise, you're just a zombie. You're not worth talking to. You're just pointless. So, all right, so let's take a look at the contract with America. What follows it up? First, promise a constitutional amendment to impose term limits on all members of Congress. I'm trying to see what the left or the right has a problem with that. You want to know what the left would have a problem with on this. I don't think they'd have a problem with it. The established left would, because that's how they make their money. But your average runner, even your girlfriend there that someday you'll run off and marry, I think that she'll understand. Second, a hiring freeze on all federal employees to reduce federal workforce through attrition, exempt military, public safety, and public health. The left will be against that because that's how they make their money. Their unions, I understand there's going to be no moral arguments against this. This isn't like, well, the left wants to close the deficit or improve the financial health of the U.S. government. I'm just telling you what their arguments and why they're going to be against. They're going to be against it because that's going to cause unemployment to go up. Well, it's not. It's a hiring freeze. But they're going to complain that, we're not going to have any more money. We need the federal government for Keynesian expansionary policy, blah, blah, blah. So the unions are definitely not going to like that. Third, a requirement that for every new federal regulation, 2 existing regulations must be eliminated. They'll probably argue that that's going to be bad for the environment and that there's all this good regulation that came through. Although I think a lot of them, especially those few that happen to be entrepreneurs, actually work in the real world, they'll probably like that. So I don't know exactly what the left would have against that, except for the environmentalists. Fourth, a 5-year ban on White House and congressional officials becoming lobbyists after they leave government service. I don't think the left's going to have a problem with that. Fifth, a lifetime ban on White House officials lobbying on behalf of a foreign government. I don't think the left is going to have a problem with that. She's just proof. The sixth, a complete ban on foreign lobbyists raising money for American elections. She's not going to have a problem with that. This girl that wants this guy killed would agree with 4 out of the 6, maybe even 5 out of the 6 things that Donald Trump is doing. And one maybe. On the same day, I will be taking the following 7 actions to protect American workers. First, I will announce my intention to renegotiate NAFTA or withdraw from the deal under Article 2205. I think she'll be okay with that. Second, I will announce our withdrawal from the Trans-Pacific Partnership. I'm actually not necessarily for doing that, but she would be. Third, I will direct my Secretary of Treasury to label China a currency manipulator. Frankly, I don't think she's that educated or intelligent to know what that means. Leftists would be for that. The left themselves would not be against that because that would protect American manufacturing jobs and union jobs. But, I mean, given how lazy she is that she just copied and pasted somebody's quote and she can't spend the 5 minutes reading through that 2 minutes it would take. Fourth, I will direct the Secretary of Commerce and the U.S. Trade Representatives to identify all foreign trading abuses that unfairly impact American workers and direct them to use every tool under American and international law to end those abuses immediately. Helping unions again, I don't know what the left is going to have against it. I don't know what your female future wife is going to have against it. Fifth, I will lift the restrictions on the production of $50 trillion worth of job-producing American energy reserves, including shale oil, natural gas, and clean coal. She'll be against that because it's against the environment. That's what the left is going to be against. They're against anything that has to do with that might lead to global warming. So that's their religion. Whether it's real or not, they don't matter. They're going to be against it. So that's why. Sixth, lift the Obama-Clinton roadblocks and allow vital energy infrastructure projects like the Keystone Pipeline to move forward. She'll be against that. Seventh, cancel billions of payments to the United Nations climate change programs and use the money to fix America's water and environmental infrastructure. She'll be 50-50 on that, but she'll probably be against that because climate change is uber alles, and the rest of the world, the UN, is more important than the United States. Page 2. First, cancel every unconstitutional executive action memorandum and order issued by President Obama. She'll probably be good with that, and leftists would be okay with that on the face of it because it's unconstitutional, but I think once they realize that means no more free goodies for them, they'll be against it. Second, beginning the process of selecting a replacement for Justice Scalia from one of the 20 judges on my list who will uphold and defend the Constitution. There's nothing really to be against it. He has every right to choose the judge, but she'll be against whoever he chooses because Trump. Third, cancel all federal funding to sanctuary cities. She'll be against that because she loves illegal immigrants more than she does American citizens. She doesn't believe in sovereignty or integrity. The left doesn't believe in sovereignty or integrity of a country. They want the United States to basically slave away for the rest of the world as some kind of recompense, compensation for what they've been brainwashed to think is mercantilism and imperialism. So they'll be against that. Fourth, begin removing the more than 2 million criminal illegal alien immigrants from the country and cancel visas to foreign countries that won't take them back. She'll be against that because, once again, leftists love foreigners more than they do. They don't want sovereignty. They would rather sell American citizens. They'd rather have American citizens pay more in taxes and lose jobs than have an illegal alien actually sent back to his or her own country. Fifth, suspend immigration from terror-prone regions where vetting cannot safely occur. All vetting of people coming into our country will be considered extreme vetting. She'll be against that because it's not racism, or because it's racism. That's what the left will see. But go talk to those 50 people that got shot and killed over at the gay nightclub down in Orlando. Oh, we can't talk to them. They're dead. I'll ask Congress to introduce the following broader legislative measures. How much is here? Okay, just 2 more pages, guys. Middle Class Tax Relief Simplification Act, designed to grow the economy by 4% a year and create at least 25 million new jobs through massive tax reduction and simplification in combination with trade reform, regulatory relief, and lifting restrictions on American energy. Largest tax reductions are for the middle class. The middle class family of 2 children will get 35% tax cut. The current number of brackets will be reduced from 7 to 3. Tax reforms will likely be greatly simplified. I think she'll probably be against that because she doesn't believe them, and she's not against lowering taxes because that means less money for the parasitic class. And I think the left is increasingly becoming more and more knowledgeable that they are parasitic and they do rely on government money, and they're very conscious they don't want real jobs. So I think they will be against that. And the Offshoring Act establishes tariffs to discourage companies from laying off their workers in order to relocate to other countries and ship their products back to the U.S. tax-free. I think she'll be for that. American Energy and Infrastructure Act leverages public-private partnerships and private investments through tax incentives to spur $1 trillion in infrastructure investment over 10 years. It is revenue neutral. She might be for that, but that would mean we're making more energy, and that causes more environment. So she'll be against it. The leftists would be against that because of global warming. School Choice and Education Opportunity Acts redirects educational dollars to give parents the right to send their kids to the public, private, charter, magnet, religious, or homeschool of their choice, ends Common Core, and brings education supervision to local communities. It expands vocational technical education and make 2- and 4-year colleges more affordable. She will be for that. Most leftists will be for it, but the teachers union will convince the sheeple that is bad and that we're going to fail minorities and all that. So the left in general is going to be against it because the left needs education, K through college, to brainwash future future wives like your future wife. They need to brainwash and generate her because she's going to vote for Trump and she's horrendously ignorant. So they're gonna fight tooth and nail for that. That's where the socialists and communists go. They want education. That's how they imagine if you didn't have K through college brainwashing and kids were just left at home to figure out politics themselves. There would have never been a Democrat elected ever. Repeal and replace Obamacare Act. She'll be against that. She'll just because forget whether what's happened to her. I doubt she even pays for her own health care. I doubt very many leftists pay for their own health care or bear the full cost. So they're going to be against that, even though it could be better for them. But they think as deep as your future wife does. Affordable Child Care and Elder Care Act allows Americans to deduct child care and elder care from their taxes, incentivizes employers to provide on-site child care services, and creates tax-free dependent care savings accounts for both young and elderly dependents with matching contributions for low-income families. She'll probably be for that. And the Illegal Immigration Act fully funds that's an act he's going to enact. Fully funds the construction of a wall. So they'll be against that. The Democrats need future leftist voters and parasites to live off of the welfare state. Otherwise, they won't have jobs, they won't have income, they won't have federal funding, they won't have voters. They're going to be totally against that. Restoring Community Safety Act reduces surging crime, drugs, and violence by creating a task force on violent crime and increasing funding for programs that train and assist police. It should be 50-50. Leftists will be against it because I think they truly want to be able to commit crimes, and whenever you hold people to the law, especially if it's disproportionately affecting minorities, then it's racism and discrimination. So I think they'll be against that. I think your girlfriend will be against it. Restoring National Security Act rebuilds our military by eliminating the defense sequester and expanding military investment, provides veterans with the ability to receive public VA treatment or attend the private doctor of their choice. I think they're going to be relatively indifferent about this because they don't really pay that much to the military except for getting rid of it. But if this is going to lower military spending, they'll probably be for it. And it focuses on the veterans, so they'll probably be okay with that. 10. Clean Up Corruption Washington Act enacts new ethics reforms to drain the swamp and reduce the corrupting influence of special interests on our politics. If she believed him, and if the leftists were, if they're honest, they'll be for that. But again, established politicians on the left and the right are going to be against that because that's how they make their money. So I would say she's probably for at least half of of Donald Trump's plan. And then maybe only very much against a third of it. But this gets back to the thing. She didn't read it. And she wants to kill this man. Well, how do you reason with that? Again, like this hat, you'll have a more hello there, Rod. How are you? Would you like to have a conversation with Mr. Hat? It's more intelligent than your future wife and more intellectually honest. You can talk to Mr. Hat right here all you want. Talk to him. See, it's not as painful. So, anyway, so that's my thought. Yeah, I'm kind of on board with, I'd say, about 90% of what Trump's going to do. A lot of it's apolitical. A lot of it, most of America should be on board with. But the real problem is the type of your girls, the type of people like your future wife, they don't do any research. They think Trump is going to kill him. They think Trump is going to murder him. I don't know where they got. Well, I do know they only listen to the mainstream media and they don't actually see what Donald Trump said. They listen to their teachers, their professors, and their Facebooks. So, like I said, talk to Mr. Hat. It's going to be much more. And if she's hot, try and get that betting tactic in on her. Because then that might actually shut her up a little bit because she'll be blowing you. Anyway, best of luck to you. Doodles.